Hello and welcome back to a YouTube video. So today I'm going to do my 14.2B Midlane tier list. If you enjoy the content, like, subscribe, and let's get into it. So to begin with, the tier list is going to be a bit different this time. I'm going to be a bit more aggressive with my placements. That's why you'll see a lot more people in the C tier. Now that we have a better read on the meta and what's like performing well, what's really struggling with its build variety, and what's like just being very overpowered, it's a bit different. So let's get into it. To begin with, Zed is going to be in my B tier. So Zed got hotfix buffed, I believe, on the 14.1B patch. He's been alright since then. He's definitely performing a lot better. Having a 100% AD ratio restored on his ultimate definitely gave him a lot of power. However, his lethality builds just aren't there yet, so he finds himself nicely in the B tier. He's still a solid pick if you're good at him. I wouldn't really recommend playing him unless you have put a lot of hours into playing him, however. Singed is down for my S+ tier. He was really strong going into this season. He did get nerfed in the 14.1B patch. He's still performing quite well though, so he now finds himself within the S tier. Malphite, not performing as well. The losing access to double armor shards within this patch has definitely hurt him, so he is now down a tier. Nivea is going to be my A tier. This is just a bit more of an aggressive placement, no longer going to be set in the S tier as like a staple, kind of just not performing to the same level as she was, with a lot of other champions rising up to outperform her. Kiana is an S tier pick. Kiana is very strong at the moment. If you've put the hours into playing this champion, she is probably 3 LP for you. If you don't play this champion, I'd recommend learning it before playing it, but she is in a very good spot. Definitely recommend picking the champion up. Twisted Fate, an incredibly strong pick at the moment, a solid S tier. Having the auto attack reset on his cards is really nice for him. It's massively helped his AP builds. If you can find the angles, ADTF is also now viable. So yeah, champ's in a really strong spot at the moment. Definitely consider picking him up. Talon, another champion, going to be within my S tier. He is performing really well with the lethality options. Definitely worthy of a spot here. Cassiopeia, really strong with access to more durability. Roa, still a really nice item on her. Seraph is also really nice on her. Just has access to a lot of the items she wants. Riley, also really good. Finds herself a solid spot in the S tier. Yone, a solid S tier champion as well. Access to Bork when champs are only have access to health now instead of armor and magic resist. Really nice for him. Alongside that, Yasuo is also upper tier. He finds himself in the A tier, also performing a lot better with Bork. Sylas is going to be in the S tier. Sylas is performing a lot better with Storm Surge Rush. I've seen some Lich Bane seconds. It might be tech worth looking at. It is being nerfed next patch, but definitely there's still a decent amount of this patch to go on. Worth picking up. Fizz, going to be down a tier, down 2 tiers, was an S+ pick, now an A tier pick. He has been double hit with nerfs, double hit with Storm Surge nerfs, however can still rush Lich Bane if he wants. Not bad, but not as good as he once was. Rumble is going to be down to my A tier. Rumble is not performing to the same level as he was. He has been nerfed in the 14.1 patch, and then buffed back up in the, nerfed in the 14.2 patch, buffed back up in the 14.2B patch. He got a bit of an AP ratio restoration on his E. I underrated him in my top lane tier list. He's not a B tier pick, he's an A tier pick. Solid option if you're looking for a really high damage AP champion early on into the game. Does fall off a cliff though if you are not able to find those advantages, so do keep that in mind. Nico, going to be down a tier into the A tier. Still a solid competitive option, obviously, but for a solo queue pick, more of an A tier. Protobelt being nerfed, Storm Surge being double nerfed has definitely helped the champion a bit. Rise, going to be down in my C tier, so actually, no, I'll put Rise in the B tier. I'll be generous. Rise, not performing to the same level as a lot of the other champions, definitely finds himself towards the bottom of the B tier, close to the C tier. Neferi, doing a lot better this patch, going to be in the A tier. Swain, really strong option with having access to more health, means that the scaling on his passive is more aggressive, being able to restore maximum health every time he gets a stall, which is quite nice. On top of that, makes him a bit more durable with just durability up within the game now. Yeah, finds himself a solid low S tier pick. Tristana, going to be in the A tier, has access to the likes of Static and Kraken if she needs them within the game, and then itemizes things like Navori, and is one of the better crit marksmen at the moment, so finds herself in the A tier. Talking about marksmen, I'm going to put Kaiser and Lucian together in the C tier. I'm not, unless you're playing at a really high level, these champions just aren't as consistent as a lot of other picks. They are predicated on early leads, they're squishy range champions, but there's just a lot of weaknesses to of them, and unless you are very mechanical and strong at playing these picks, they tend to just not perform to the same level as other picks. Talia going to be in my A tier. Talia, really good counter pick, not as strong as just a blind pick, but yeah, really valuable as a counter pick option. Katarina going to be in the A tier. Katarina is really good. Of course, if you one trick this champion, she is broken. And for context, most people who play the champion are one tricks. If you're first time in Katarina, she probably still underperforms at the moment. But as most people, like I said, one trick, then yeah, A tier pick here. Akali going to be in the A tier as well. Was kind of creeping towards the S tier, but the Storm Surge nerf has put her back down. Gonna be in the A tier. Azir gonna be in the A tier. Way too high for solo queue. He should be in like the B, close to C tier. He is taking over competitive, rightly so at the moment. Probably will get nerfed next patch. But yeah, Nash's toothbrush on Azir, really, really strong. He's going for elite at the moment, so do definitely give that a try. Kassadin gonna be within the A tier. Seraph's Roa and Malignance make for a great item combination on him. He's seen competitive play, even got a pentakill when Showmaker played him, so definitely some power there. Consider picking him up. Akshan gonna be the first champion in my S+ tier. Still here. Both Voltaic Cycler Sword and Kraken Slayer are great first options on him. He is the best lane bully in the game. Almost no champion can actually match it. And yeah, really impressive, really strong pick. Does fall off over the duration of the game, but yeah, like I said, one of the best early game champions, so S+ tier. Cho'Gath going to be within my B tier. Both tank and AP aren't doing too hot at the moment, so he's a little underpowered. Tends to actually just perform better in the mid lane than top lane, but even then, he's still not finding those kind of advantages. Victor going to be within my B tier. Fine pick if you're able to get the early stacks on his passive. Really good. Then it makes him relatively good. Of course, if you're not and the environment's slow, then he will struggle. He doesn't scale as powerfully as a lot of the other champs. Lichbane is kind of his one saving grace at the moment. So yeah. Karthus going to be within my B tier. Unless you're Veigar V2, I wouldn't really recommend playing this champion. He's more of a niche pick. Heimerdinger, same goes. Unless you're really proficient of a champion, I wouldn't really recommend playing it. Malzahar just sucks. I mean, okay. Malzahar is a great low elo pick. If you play him past Emerald, he tends to just suck. He's very, very simple in the way he wants to play the game. And if people understand that, build things like QSS, then he does really struggle. Gangplank going to be within my B tier. If you're not a solo backer, I wouldn't recommend playing this champion. Okay, so both AP and AD Gangplank are viable options, but yeah, you do really need to be piloting this champion very well to get a lot out of it. So yeah, unless you're a one trick, I really wouldn't recommend playing it. Ahri got the 2-second buff on her charm. It's put her in a better spot. Still a B tier option though. A lot of other champions just outperform her at the moment. Galio was kind of abusing the fact that Storm Surge was strong as a rush option. Just isn't as strong anymore with lots of nerfs. Should probably be looking at more like a Roa or a Cosmic Drive. But yeah, lost a bit of power from that, so going to be in the B tier. Pantheon also going to be within the B tier, just not performing to the same level this season as it was last season. I've covered it a couple of times. Karma going to be within the A tier. Oh yeah, okay. So Karma is a big top here. Everyone's talking about Karma at the moment. Loads of people are the first time here on ranked, which I would really not recommend. She's like a A tier option, not quite S tier. Of course, the Malignance build is very nice on her. Mid laners have realized Cosmic makes for a great second item over Horizon Focus. However, Horizon Focus can work as a third option and can sometimes be that valuable second pick in certain games if you obviously need a bit more vision. But yeah. Solid A tier pick, not as strong as people kind of anticipated. Lissandra going to be within my B tier. Also kind of similar to Galio, was abusing the fact that just Storm Surge was just such a strong item. Now that it's been nerfed twice, she kind of falls within the B tier. Cassante, more of a niche pick within the mid lane, mostly played top lane. However, he's a solid tank pick. One of the hardest to pilot tanks, but if you do pilot him well and you play with him within mid, he can be a strong option, definitely. Xerath, access to more durability within the game, alongside the fact that Luden's Companion is just a worse Luden's Tempest. He's fine. He's within the B tier. He's not doing too hot. Corki gonna be within the B tier. Okay. If you itemize Corki correctly with the Eclipse, the Manamune, and the Malignance, he is really powerful. Most people are still falling for the bait of going Triforce at the moment, when really, if you itemize him with champion correctly, he can be turbo repressive. Spirit of Shojin makes for a great fourth option. I believe there is a really strong fifth item on him as well. But yeah, as long as you're getting your 4-item core down, he does a huge amount of damage. Valuable pick. Closer towards S tier, the higher elo you go. Closer towards C tier, the lower elo you go. Diana, going to be within my A tier. Actually closer towards B tier, if anything. She's not performing as well as she was at the beginning of the season. Protobelt and Storm Surge were giving her a lot of power. Both have been nerfed. Now she finds herself within the A tier, not performing to the same level. Echo at the moment is just a better Diana, can kind of abuses a Lichbane, which is the best item in the game, well, one of the best items in the game at the moment, possibly the best. Yeah, but he abuses the item really well, can opt into things like Storm Surge, oftentimes doesn't even need it, can go like Nashers, Rabadon, Zonya, Void Staff, or Hexbloom, I believe it's called. These options, it's Crypt Bloom, never mind, got the wrong name. But yeah, Echo can abuse these items quite well, finds herself within the S tier. Kayle, going to be down in the A tier. The nerfs did hit her a bit, not performing to the same level as she was beginning of the season, where she was like an S+ pick. Now finds herself more within the A tier as a decent option. Annie was in my S tier. Not as powerful this patch. Gonna find herself within the A tier. Still a solid A tier option though. Malignance is a great item for her. Tibbers can proc it quite frequently, which makes it, very nice. Gragas is a solid A tier option. If anything, he's kind of sleeper strong at the moment. However, most people aren't playing him within the mid lane. As more people do, his win rate will probably fluctuate, go down a bit, but his win rate is high, his itemization is strong, can go AP, can go relatively tanky as well. Good options there, makes him a solid A tier pick. Possibly close to the S tier if you are like proficient on the champion. Hui, gonna be within the B tier, which probably means he's too strong. He had a bunch of bug fixes alongside buffs this patch. People are itemizing him correctly and are just getting better at playing him. And yeah, within the B tier, I imagine he will start seeing competitive play and get knocked back down. But for the moment, if you enjoy the champion, he's decent. You can give him a go. Scion, going to be within my C tier, actually. Scion not performing as well as a mid option. People are very much hooked onto the Kainic Garukan Scion tech at the moment, which has seen a bit of competitive play. However, it's not as strong within solo queue, where the environment's a bit different, so he finds himself more within the C tier as a mid lane option. Veigar had the 30 health buff this patch. It didn't really do anything. He's still kind of bad, so yeah, in the C tier. Orianna, actually, I'm going to put next to him. Orianna's not doing too hot. Had the nerfs at the end of last season and just hasn't found great itemization this season, so she's more of a C tier option at the moment. Syndra, going to be within my B tier. She's doing better than Orianna, definitely. Was in my A tier last patch, but this patch kind of down a tier. A lot of other champions got a lot stronger. She didn't really adjust that well, and yeah, finds herself more within the B tier. Asol is getting buffed next patch, we know that much. He's good in low elo, he's terrible in high. That's just how the champion functions at the moment. It'll be interesting to see how the changes, which are more focused towards being proactive early game over just sitting AFK and Eing, which is could change. Makes Asol hopefully a better high elo pick. Zoe is going to be within my B tier. She's fine with Luden's Companion. I've seen Lichbane Zoes where you kind of abuse your ultimate to get free procs on it. Might be some tech there, which would make her better, but for the moment, going to be within my B tier. Vex going to be within my B tier, was abusing Storm Surge's power. Now that it's been nerfed, she's very much predicated on getting those advantages. Yeah, item being nerfed hurts her a lot. No longer means she can as consistently get those advantages, which is why she's now a B tier option. Jace is like a low B tier option as well. Struggling with the itemization this season. It's just not as good as last season. I would recommend trying Youmuu's into Manamune as his core itemization, but the loss of Shojin of what it once was definitely has hurt him. Finds himself more within the B tier at the moment. Lux is a solid A tier option. Got buffed very early on into the season and is doing decently with it. So yeah, going to be an A tier pick. Aurelia and Riven actually are both going to be over my A tier. So both these picks doing quite well at the moment. If you're very proficient at playing them, they are great picks to just flex into mid lane, especially if you're auto filled. But they are just standalone good mid laners. So yeah, definitely worth playing. LeBlanc going to be over my C tier. LeBlanc just not performing that well. Both AP and, AD's basically dead in the solo queue. You're not going to see it. AP LeBlanc just isn't performing to the same level as a lot of the other picks, which is why she finds herself in the C tier. Vladimir and Zaka, I'm actually going to put everyone in. So Ziggs, Vel'Koz are C tier picks. They are both struggling as artillery mages at the moment. Even Ziggs ADC isn't doing too great. They are just not as good abusing Luden's Companion as Luden's Tempest. Ziggs doesn't have as consistent damage application as when he would have gone like Liandry's, for example, which make them actually just struggle at the moment. Their itemization is just a bit weaker, which is why they find themselves down here. On the other side, though, S+ tier, Vladimir and Zac. So Vladimir is a very solid S+ tier pick at the moment. Riftmaker is a great pick on him. Riftmaker into Liandry's, yeah, very strong pairing of items right here. Give him a lot of tools, durability, damage, burn over time, sustained combat patterns, stuff like this. Just makes him really powerful at the moment, and he's really strong into a lot of the mid lane picks. Zac, on the other hand, is giga busted. Like, he's one of the best junglers, one of the best top laners, one of the best mid laners, one of the best supports. Overall, his value as a flex pick combined with the fact that his itemization is really good, and he got hotfix buffed like harder than any of the other champions. Yeah, he's a very broken S+ pick at the moment, and it wouldn't surprise me if they got him next patch with how strong he is. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But overall, those are my thoughts on the mid lane. It'll be interesting to see what people think, what kind of builds people are going. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.